Okay, so oil is not wholesome, correct? Because it is not right away coming from nature. So how do you clarify?
I think it's a very sensitive topic.
Yes.
Let's address it.
Let's address it, and I'll also be very clear to the audience that this is just a healthy discussion.
Right.
Okay, you're telling your point, I'm telling my point from a
Exactly.
gastroenterology standpoint, and the individual can decide.
Of course.
What they
At
want.
any, obviously.
Correct, yeah.
So, food, especially in our Indian culture, is much more than nutrition. Right? It's transferred from generations, and it's each family has their own way of preparing something, and it's a very revered way of doing it.
Correct.
So I think one must be very respectful of these traditions that are passed down.
Correct.
While they are receiving this knowledge, to see how they can not sacrifice either. But oil becomes one of those sensitive areas. So what we have realized, and this is something, Dr. Pal, we want to safeguard, I would say, our community, our society, our generation from the absolute worst that's happening, and then leave it to one's choice. So if we look at within oil, that absolute danger category is a super refined oil that has come into our market today. And if I explain the way that oil is made, we would not ever consider eating it again or having it again. It's just packaged so beautifully, and the ads are so well made that we can't possibly imagine what process it goes through to reach that oil in our table.
Can you explain?
So this,
This is a natural process.
Just right before you go into that, I want to just share, you know how when we were discussing sugar, we discussed that there's a spectrum.
Correct.
When we were discussing living foods, we were discussing there's a spectrum.
Correct.
So is the case with oils
Oil as well,
also.
I see.
There's a spectrum. There's one which is the purest category. Then there's a slightly refined but still good category. And then there's the
Super
ultra
refined.
refined category.
I see.
So in the purest category, let's say the green list of fats or oils is the whole fats. So eating nuts, eating nut butters, nut milks, seeds, seed pastes, these coconut, grated coconut. This is the most wholesome of all, right? Because we are the least interference
Correct.
we are making with the natural
nut milk
product.
is like almond.
Nut milk,
nut
like
milk, right?
almond milk,
Almond milk.
any coconut milk.
Coconut.
That's the purest category of fats. Then when we go one level more refined, we get cold pressed oils, which are refined. The fat has been extracted from the nut or the seed, but it is done in a clean way. It is not done in a very synthetic, industrial, artificial way. It's done in a clean way. There's not too much heat involved. It's done in small mills.
Explain that to me. Heat makes it more artificial, correct?
Yes.
Cold presses, they press it very.
Heat is not
There's
part
no
of the
heat
process.
involved, and there's no chemicals used to extract the oil, which is the case with refined oil. So it's also called kachi ghani tel in India, cold pressed oil. It's interrelated.
I see.
Kachi ghani tel.
Tell me, I don't know. Kachi ghani means cold pressed.
Cold pressed oil.
I see.
So there are a lot of oil mills scattered throughout the country, small. Near our house, near your house, there will be oil mill. You take your bag of peanuts, you take a bag of sesame, and they will simply grind it in a small, it'll be like a large version of a mortar and pestle, and they'll give you oil. Within a few minutes, you can see it happening in front of your eyes. So only the fat has been extracted from it. It is still clean food. It is not as wholesome, but it is still clean food.
Nothing is added.
Yeah.
And now explain the actual refined.
And then the refined oil is the, that's where the
process.
that's the most industrially made oil. So what
this
happens?
is the refined oil that we see in this yellow thing on the shelf of a supermarket.
Even cold pressed oils you will get on supermarket
Correct,
shelves.
but it says cold pressed.
Yeah,
It
this will
says
say
cold
refined.
pressed.
They're proudly saying refined as if it's a good thing.
Yeah. So it will say refined. So the first process it undergoes is heat. So the nut or seed is heated at extremely high temperatures to begin with. And often those temperatures are even hotter than deep frying foods. So when it is exposed to such high heat, the first thing that goes is the nutrition value from that nut or seed. So extremely high temperature heating. Then to extract the oil from that nut or seed, there's a chemical used which is called hexane. Hexane is a petroleum derivative, and a lot of research has been done to show that hexane is also a carcinogenic. The third step that comes, now they've heated the oil, they've added hexane, right? Now it starts looking very black and dark. What would you do to something that's black and dark?
Dump.
No one would buy it,
No
right?
buy it,
If
yeah.
in a bottle you see black
Correct.
oil, would you buy it?
Correct.
No,
No.
you wouldn't. So they need to bleach it to regain its golden color, to its clear color. So there's a lot of bleaching agents added in the industrial process to bring it back to its clear, glistening color. And then the fourth step, by this time, it's also started smelling really bad, the industrial oil in the process. So now what is done? There is deodorizers added to the oil to again make it appealing for the mass population. So this four-step process, high heat, hexane addition, deodorization and bleaching, is actually what we are left with after this process is not a food anymore. We are consuming it every day, 3 times a day. But it's not food. It's a highly refined product sitting in our kitchen shelves. We are eating it as food, which is creating disease inside our bodies.
Wow.
It is increasing a lot of, giving rise to trans fats. So
I think scientifically speaking, I mean, first of all, I think it's very clear that you have told this so many times.
yes.
Look at how fluent she was. And then the second thing, scientifically speaking, is that is where all this possible association of seed oils with inflammation, with the omega-6 fatty acids is being associated. Okay, so in US, if you see any health influencer, any dietitian, anybody, they just go big on no seed oils at all. This is going to cause you cancer and all those things. It might not be that as bad as what they are thinking, but the bottom line is that there is a definite increase in the inflammatory markers with omega-6. Basically, there are two kinds, omega-3, omega-6. Omega-3 should be high, omega-6 should be low. This is the proportion. In seed oils, what is happening is it's the other way around. After you explain this to me, I'm seeing that all this process is making this maybe this way. So after knowing all this,
yeah.
Is it bright red then?
Yeah, I mean refined oil. We don't use in Sattvic cooking.
I see.
We try to use as much whole fats as possible, and whenever needed, to those who need it specifically, we recommend also cold pressed.
Cold press oil. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.